Amazons is a 1986 fantasy film from director Alejandro Sessa. The movie opens in medieval times. A wizard shows up and everyone just kinda quietly walks around. Apparently the bad guys at the gate are there to pick a fight. Well, isn't that nice? They decided to let the city know that they're planning to attack and gave them a chance to warm up first. The army passes by while these women are busy aerobicizing. The ladies are practicing their proficiency at breaking pots. The Amazon leader, Tsingy, stops them. It looks like they can't beat Kalungo without the sword of Azundati. Tired of waiting, Kalungo summons Al Gore?
Al Gore. Al Gore. Al Gore.
He then shoots lightning, which his guys think is just great. Oh no, not the hay! Tsingy tells Diala to take the spirit stone out of the city and away from Kalungo. They take the triangle rock candy and narrowly escape being smashed by some styrofoam rocks. Kalungo easily captures the city. Mr. Half-Face is happy. Oh, now that was unnecessary. The Amazons escape into the woods with the survivors. The high priest what's-his-name casts a prayer on the Amazons.
8.
He tells them to look into the mirrors to find their true selves. Let's see, hot girl, hot girl, hot... I'm a sword! Kalungo calls Balgor. Ah, yes! Balgor gives Kalungo his powers, and really, this is all he does until the end of the movie. They set this guy up, and we don't see him again for another hour. The Amazons arrive at a neighboring town. Ah, it's the town that worships Olivia Newton-John. They give the leader their spirit stone. I'm gonna move close to you to look like I'm whispering something, but I'm not gonna open my mouth and say anything. Diala tells the leader what she saw in the spirit tree. They then want to talk to her alone. Uh-oh, Tsingy's a traitor. Look at her. Diala then has to go on a sacred quest to recover the sword and defeat Balgor or Kalungo or both of them. Sometime later, Commander Arbani is telling Columbo about an uprising amongst the villagers. Tsingy tells Diala she doesn't have to go on the mission alone. She can bring Tashi to pick up some power converters. They show Diala where to go by pointing at this art project his kid made. Diala seems very confused when they discuss the Weir Ways.
The Weir Ways are near the Hidden Hills.
The Weir Ways.
Remember when I said Tsingy's a traitor? Tashi is her daughter. It seems Diala's mother is the reason why Tsingy has a robot hand. So she wants Tashi to kill Diala once she has the sword. So Diala and Tashi go out to retrieve the magic sword. There is a lot of cleavage in this movie. Tsingy goes to tell Kalungo that the Amazons are on their way to get the sword so they can defeat him. Here, my dear, have some fruit punch. Kalungo is talking to his big kitty, Acom, and what? Oh no. This movie's going to be popular with the furries, isn't it? He tells her to go track Diala. There's nothing exciting going on, so what better time than now for a fully nude bathing segment? This is a 1980s Roger Corman sword and sorcery film, after all. Of course, some of the local creeps are here to watch. Instead of attacking when they're nude and vulnerable, they wait for them to get dressed. They do some flippy, kicky fighting. This guy flips for no reason. Things are going along okay, until this happens.
You got knocked the fuck out, man!
Just then, Acom, the big kitty, to the rescue. This gives the ladies enough distraction to fight the guys off. No one seems to notice that this completely wild cat is wearing a collar. The ladies then go into the stock footage jungle. That night, one of the villagers is a traitor. Purple monkey dishwasher. The guards now know where to go to stop the villager uprising. Man, is everyone a turncoat in this movie? The ladies find the prequel to Midsommar. This movie is definitely giving the audience what it wants. The Amazons seem to enjoy this. Aren't they prepping to throw her into a volcano? And now, the interpretive dance. Some mutants kidnap the women, and the Amazons are like, well, that sucks. Anyway, it doesn't matter though, they walk right into a trap. They aren't very good at this. Diala gets away and leaves Tashi. Kalungo puts the sexy moves on Tsingy. We then get several minutes of awkward sexy time. The mutants put Tashi with the other girls. This guy has the worst job in the entire film. Hey, you're gonna be in the scenes with all the really pretty maidens. What's the catch? You're gonna be strapped to a wheel. I'm pretty sure Tashi could squeeze through those bars. The guards take the leader of the rebels to see Kalungo. Pull my finger! He does a Darth Vader impression before putting him into jail. Hey, yeah, what happened to the lion girl? Over in the mutant village. Uh-oh, it's the Tree of Trantor. I hope they've got plenty of authentic Bulgarian miak. The mutants strip the ladies and feed them to the tree. Diala sets off an ambush and takes out the mutants before they can kill Tashi. How many hours did it take for her to set this all up? After killing the baddies, they rescue the survivors. Now that Diala rescued Tashi, they make up and are new friends. Tashingi goes to see Kalungo and he uses the mute button.
Traitor! Traitor! Traitor!
Oh look! It's that bed of souls that they used in Deathstalker 2. The Amazons find a horse that leads them to a seer. She tells them where they need to go to find the sword. The villagers decide it's time to stop waiting for the sword and attack Kalungo's forces head on. The Amazons find what they're looking for, the Vagina Caverns. But it's on the other side of this huge crater, so they use some rope to cross the chasm. Meanwhile, the lion lady can just jump across. I thought this was impossible, but I looked it up and apparently, a lion can jump up to 12 feet vertically and 36 feet laterally. The Amazons arrive in the cave and immediately find the sword. Before retrieving the sword, they cover themselves in baby oil. Tashi goes to kill Diala, but can't bring herself to do it.
You wouldn't kill a friend.
Let's hug it out. Everything's gonna be okay. Oh no! Well, Tashi's dead. The animal trainer hugs the lion, while Diala rolls around with a puppet. Diala kills Akam and goes to see Tashi. Now with the sword, it's time to defeat Kalungo.
I will deflect the bolts as long as I can.
And he can only hold a few back. Great plan. Thanks, dead guy. Diala goes back to see the seer. She discovers that the seer is Azandati, the owner of the sword. She lets her use her magic horse to time travel through the wheelways and make her way to face Kalungo. Oh, spooky! It's like a Halloween adventure in here. Balgor tries to stop her, but she kills him. Now with the sword, they can attack Kalungo's defenses.
You cannot defeat me! I have the power!
Boy, if only we waited 5 minutes, the High Priest would still be alive. Now that they have the sword, they storm the castle.
Kalungo! Where are you?
Diala follows him into the city's underground. The first thing Kalungo does is knock the sword out of her hands. They fight until, oh, this is silly. Did she even really need the sword? So she proceeds to punch and kick him until she retrieves the sword for the final blow.
Now you die!
Now with Kalungo dead, Diala tells them all to stop fighting. Now Diala lets them know Tashingi is the traitor. There's the shadow of the boom mic.
Oh! Oh!
Wait, what? If she could do this all along, why did she wait until now? Diala finds Tashingi, and they have a more satisfying fight than the one with Kalungo. Tashingi gets knocked into the tree and... huh? She chops down the tree, which lands on her, and she dies. She couldn't move out of the way. Besides that, shouldn't that have also killed Diala? Okay. So Diala goes back to Azandati's house. It seems like she was able to bring Tashi back to life. Aw, now hug it out. Now kiss. The ladies then ride off into the sunset. Amazons was shot in Argentina in early 1986. This was one of a series of sword and sorcery films made in Argentina for Roger Corman. Director Hector Oliveira directed Barbarian Queen and Warriors of the Lost Kingdom, but Alejandro Cesa directed Amazons. This was also Cesa's directorial debut. He followed this up with Stormquest, the last movie he directed. Oliveira also produced The Warrior and the Sorceress, Stormquest, and Deathstalker 1 and 2. Many shots and most of the props were all recycled within these films. They also reused some of the footage in Wizards of the Lost Kingdom too. Why not? They didn't reinvent the wheel every time there was a new car. Many of the actors and actresses in the film didn't do much outside of Corman Productions. For some of them, like Fabiana Smith, who played ACOM, this was her only role. Joseph Whipp, who played Colungo, has been the most successful. He has over 100 credits to his name, and everything from A Nightmare on Elm Street to Lizzie McGuire. Mindy Miller played Diala. Her father's Dave Kashner, one of the top stuntmen from his era, and she trained under him. On top of being a professional wrestler, she was also an expert in karate. She was trained in firearms, sword fighting, horseback riding, hand-to-hand combat, and gymnastics. She continued to work in small roles in stunt work in movies like Caged Fury and Batman Returns. Her last film was Dark Vengeance in 1992. The movie was showcased on an episode of the long-running German series Schlafaz back in September of 2022. Amazons is a fast, fun movie. How fast? It's about an hour and 10 minutes. There was a subplot that involved the training of the Amazon warriors that ran about 10 minutes long, but that was cut from the film. It's included in the special features of the Shout Factory release. Speaking of, this was part of the 2-pack Blu-ray with Barbarian Queen, which makes for a nice double feature. Now, if I could figure out why Barbarian Queen was getting such big view numbers, that would be great. Is it the thumbnail? We shall see, because this also has a beautiful painted Boris Vallejo cover. Amazons is not as good as Deathstalker 2, but really that movie is in a class all its own. It's also not quite as good as Barbarian Queen. If only there was just a little bit more story. It did feel like this was set up for future installments, but with the sword and sorcery trend dying down, they probably decided to not make too many. This one had a surprising amount of nudity in it, but still nowhere near as much as Sorceress. My goodness,